Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is WireDogSec back with another video for you guys. Today's video, we are in TryHackMe. This is the Advent of Cyber 2025 event. This is malware analysis, executable. Discover some common tooling for malware analysis within a sandbox environment. This is day number 6, by the way. And also to save some time, be sure to go down to task number 1 here and start up this particular VM here. Okay, as you can see there, I've already started it, and this is what you'll need today. So while I'm yapping, the machine can already be booting up and ready to go whenever we get to it. Now, before we get into it, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so every time I upload to the channel. Without further delay, let's go and dive into it. Task 1 Introduction. The town of Wareville remains quiet in the middle of the night, while the residents of Wareville are nicely tucked up in bed. Blissfully unaware, the SOC team at the Best Festival Company, TBFC, remain alert, poised and ready for whatever may face them. Monitoring their screens, armed with a freshly poured mug of hot cocoa, the elves of the SOC watch their dashboards diligently. Suddenly, the elves receive an email in unison from Elf McClaw's head of Elf Affairs. In their inboxes, it reads, okay, so we have Elf McClaw's subject, a new schedule awaits, attachments hophelper.exe. To all elves, going forward, we will be using a new program for creating and viewing team rotas. This new program will revolutionize how rotas are made here at the Best Festival Company. Please contact IT support if you have issues running the program. Counter guards remain the best. Elf McClaws, head of Elf Affairs. Why is Elf McClaws working at 3 a.m.? Screams a member of the SOC team in the background. They're right. Something is amiss. Elf McBlue is immediately suspicious. Their years of experience in SOC have given them the wisdom not to download out of the blue executables without McSkitty's wisdom. Elf McBlue takes charge, loading up their malware investigation toolkit. The investigation begins. Learning objectives. Today's room will have you taking the place of Elf McBlue, a highly talented member of the Best Festival Company's malware investigation squad. You have been tasked with investigating a highly suspicious executable that is being shared with the company. Today's room will be covering the following: the principles of malware analysis, an introduction to sandboxes, static versus dynamic analysis, tools of the trade, P Studio Procmon, and Reg Shot. Connected to the machine. So this is how you connect to the machine. We've already went over this earlier, right? Start machine button. We're in split screen there. Machine's already going on. And then this alternative way to connect to the machine via RDP from your THM VPN to connect to the machine. If you want to go that route, use this method there. Please note that it is imperative you do not execute the hop helper.exe executable yet. The room will instruct you when to do so. I have access to my sandbox environment. Okay. Task number 2 here. Malware analysis using sandboxes. Principles of malware analysis. Malware analysis is the process of examining a malicious file to understand its functionality, operation, and methods of defense against it. By analyzing a malicious file or application, we can see how exactly it operates and therefore how to prevent it. For example, could the malicious file communicate with an attacker server? We can block that server. Could the malicious file leave traces on the machine? We could use that to determine if malware has ever infected another device. Instead of fearing malware, we can take a proactive approach for translating technical findings into practical defensive measures and understanding how the malware fits into an attacker's techniques. There are two main branches of malware analysis: static and dynamic. Static analysis focuses on inspecting a file without executing it, whereas dynamic analysis involves execution. We will come to these shortly. Sandboxes and cybersecurity sandboxes are used to execute potential uh, dangerous code. Think of this as disposable digital playpens. These sandboxes are safe, isolated environments where potentially malicious applications can perform their actions without risking sensitive data or impacting other systems. The use of sandboxes is part of the golden rule in the malware analysis. Never run dangerous applications on devices you care about. That's right. Make sure you have a sandbox environment like a VM or something that's dedicated to analyzing malware and such. Most of the time, sandboxes present themselves as virtual machines. Virtual machines are a popular choice for sandbox because you can control how the system operates and benefit from features such as snapshotting, which allows you to create and restore the machine to various stages of its status. To reiterate, it is imperative to understand that potentially malicious code and application should only be run in a safe, isolated environment. From now on, this machine or this room will refer to malicious code and applications as samples. With these fundamentals covered, let's move on to the practical section of today's room. The following will demonstrate a sample. You must apply these techniques to the hop helper.exe file presented to you within the hop helper folder on the desktop of the Practical VM interactive static analysis. As we alluded to previously in the room, we will use static analysis to gather information about a sample without executing it and digging deep. Static analysis can be a quick and effective way to understand how the sample may operate, as well as it can be identified. Some of the information that can be gathered from static analysis has been included in the table below. So you have information, explanation, and example checksums. These checksums are used within cybersecurity to track and catalog files and executables. For example, you can Google the checksum to see if this has been identified before, and there you go right there. As example, strings. Strings are sequences of readable characters within an executable. This could be, for example, IP addresses, URLs, commands, or even passwords. And there's an example of an IP address right there. Imports. Imports are a list of binaries and functions that the application depends upon. For example, rather than building everything from scratch, applications will use operating system functions and libraries to interact with the operating system. These are useful, especially in Windows, as they allow you to see how the application interacts with the system and create file W. This library is used to create a file on the Windows system. And resources. Resources contain data such as the icon that is displayed to the user. This is useful to examine, especially since the malware might use a Word document icon to trick the user. Additionally, malware itself has been known to hide in this section and then not applicable. However, it's important to note that regardless of how a sample may appear or function, we don't truly know until it's executed. Attackers use techniques such as obfuscation to obscure how the samples appear, primarily to evade antiviruses, but also to evade a curious analyst. That's right. They also have countermeasures for, sandbox environments inside of like virtual machines and whatnot. They can detect if they detect something is running in a virtual machine, then it won't run the code all the way. Anyway, demonstrating PE Studio. The section of this room, or this section of the room, will demonstrate using PE Studio on an example called downloader.exe. Please note that the information you see will be from this demonstration sample. The sample you will be analyzed will be different, but the techniques will still apply. Please note it is imperative that you do not launch the hophelper.exe executable yet. First, we will use PE Studio to gather information about the executable. Executive summary. Launch PE Studio, load the executable into PE Studio, click on the Identicators tab in the drop down and look for the checksum or the just SHA-256 sum here. Okay, so let's see here. There's PE Studio right there, and we can make it bigger here. First, we'll launch PE Studio and load the executable into it. The shortcut for this has been placed on the desktop for your analysis or your analyst machine. You can drag and drop the executable into the PE Studio window or by loading it by selecting File and Open. So we have File right here, Open File. PE Studio will display some information about the executable. Okay. All right, so we're going to take a look at this picture real quick. They have downloader.exe loaded up here inside of PE Studio, and you can see all kinds of useful information in here. The first one that comes out is going to be the SHA-256 right here. So this hash value, you can probably take this and try to put this in like VirusTotal or something to see if there's been any reports out there already, but let's continue on. For us at this stage, the file then SHA-256 property within the tables of interest, this value is a checksum, which is a unique identifier for the executable. We can keep a note of this SHA-256 as threat intelligence. Now I proceed to do this on the sample hophelper.exe provided to you on the analyst machine to answer question number 1 here. So we're going to click on open here. We'll go down to desktop and then hophelper, and then we're going to find the executable here, which should be this one. Okay. Just as a reminder, the hophelper.exe sample can be found in the hophelper folder on the desktop. Okay. Next, we will proceed with reviewing the strings of the executable. We can do this by clicking on the strings indicator on the left pane of PE Studio. The strings right there. Let's answer this question first. We're probably gonna have to grab that hash or something. So let's go down here. What's the SHA-256 sum of hop helper? And we are going to grab that here. Whoops. I'm not sure what happened. I guess it closed out on us. So let's try this again. Studio, and then we're going to open up Hop Helper again. All right. Now we can go ahead and grab that file, or the SHA-256 right here. So let's see if it's an easy way to get it. Copy value. Sweet. All right, so it seems like I do some other things, get these other flags, it looks like. So let's scroll back up here and continue on. Okay, so I'm trying to find my spot. All right, so we're back in action here. Strings down here. Okay, we see that there. In the context of malware analysis, strings are sequences of readable characters present within an executable. This could be, for example, IP addresses, URLs, commands, or even passwords. As a malware analyst, it's great to have a look at these, as these could reveal the attacker's command infrastructure, which we could use for defenses. Now proceed to review the strings on the sample hophelper.exe provided to you on the analyst machine to answer question number 2. Please note that it may take a few minutes for the strings to calculate. Okay, great. This concludes the static analysis portion of the practical. There's so much more to uncover using static analysis. Feel free to explore if you like. Let's proceed to the dynamic analysis below. So let's answer question number 2 before we do that. And it says, okay, what flag exists? All right, so let's move this over a little bit here, and we can just go and look at these values and take a look here. So I wonder if, like I was hoping that you could like Control F it or something. So I guess we have to sift through and try to find that flag. Hopefully I didn't overlook it somewhere already. But yeah, I guess as we're sifting through this, we can see different values and such inside of here. Yeah, there's no search field function in here, it looks like, for this particular area. So I'm gonna fast forward the video until I find this. Hey everybody, this is WireDogSec. Just a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Once you hit the notification bell, be sure to set to all notifications so you know every time I post to the channel, upload a video, all that good stuff. Let's continue to grow our glorious community here. We are in the cyber trenches. We're not just reporting on it. Be sure to check out my channel as well. I have tons of videos. You can see here over 300 videos ready for you to check out and learn something from. Be sure to review my posts. I'm frequently posting new things to my channel here, including jobs and everything related to that. Also, I have tons of playlists here that you can review, make it more convenient for you. Anyway, happy defending, happy hacking. Enjoy the video. Okay, it appears that we found the flag here. Okay, it took a little bit, but it says that it's going to be found towards the bottom of the strings output, I guess. So anyway, we found it. Now we're going to copy this out. It says THM strings found. Looks like there's 2 entries in there for that. So plug that in. Now we're going to go to this dynamic analysis and see what they're cooking with there. All right. Interactive dynamic analysis. This section of the room provides a brief introduction to dynamic analysis. As you recall, dynamic analysis involves executing the malicious sample to identify its behaviors and how it interacts with the operating system. Redshot. Redshot is a widely used utility, especially when analyzing malware on Windows. It works by creating 2 snapshots of the registry, one before the malware is run and another afterwards. The results are then compared to identify any changes. Malware aims to establish persistence, meaning it seeks to run as soon as the device is switched on. A common technique for malware is to add a run key into the registry, which is frequently used to specify which applications are automatically executed when the device is powered on. For executing the malicious sample, hophelper.exe, let's create a snapshot of our registry as it currently is so we can compare the difference once the sample has been executed. Let's load up Redshot and create a capture of the registry as it currently exists. The shortcut to this has also been placed on the desktop of the analyst machine. All right, so we're going to minimize this and there's red shot right there. Okay, there we go. And yes. Now it says first change the output directory of the capture to the user's desktop using the box with the 3 dots in the output path. Okay, output path, and then we change this to the desktop. All right, it looks good to go there. And then once set, let's create our first snapshot. Press first snapshot and then shot on the drop down. Please note that this may take a few minutes to complete. So we just saw that here, and we can see that running right there. Now that we have taken a snapshot of the registry, you should proceed with executing the hop helper.exe sample and take another snapshot. We will then compare the difference. For you, this is the hop helper.exe executable located in the hop helper folder on your desktop. Psst. Now that you have executed the sample, you might see that some strange things have happened. Okay, so once this is done, we'll go ahead and execute it. So I'm not sure how long this is going to take. All right, looks like it's finished finally. Now we're going to open up we're going to fire off hop helper. So I'm going to double click that and let's see what happens. Let's minimize this. It said there's something supposed to change. Okay, so these things change to egg icons here. Appears to be some kind of probably like ransomware or something. And here's a message. King Malware sends his regards. Neat. Okay, so once that's done, I believe we have to run the second shot after that. Yeah, once we have executed our sample, let's return to reg shot and capture our second snapshot. Use the same procedure as above. Click on the second shot button and press shot. Okay, so we're doing the same thing. The red shot is capturing the registry again and outputting the differences to a file. Okay, that's interesting there. Let's do second snapshot and then shot. All right, so hopefully this won't take too long to run, but we're on the right track here, it looks like. And now after a few seconds, let's press the compare button that appears. Okay, so we're gonna see that. We can search for the executable within the log that opens up. Sweet. And then we're gonna get into Procmon here. So let's see if it's done. And hopefully it didn't crash on us. Come on. But this is interesting. I don't think I've ever used this red shot tool before. But it seems like a useful tool here. All right, okay, compare. Now it's gonna go through, I guess, look at this progress bar here. And I don't think we can answer this question yet. Okay, maybe we can. We'll see, I guess. And I'm just going to scroll back up here to talk about Procmon in a second. Oh, okay, sweet. It's done. All right, there's a lot of information in here to sift through. It looks like a lot of information. Changes 44,493. Holy moly, that's a lot of changes there. Okay, maybe we can answer that question. So let's see what they're asking. What registry value has hop helper actually modified for persistence? Provide the full path. Okay, so we need to see if we can locate that, I guess. Let's see here. I'm trying to see if there's like an easy way to get this. There's a lot to sift through here. They did say run keys or something, right? Earlier, I believe. So I'm wondering if it's going to be in here somewhere. So let me sift through this and see if I can find it. Okay, it looks like it's going to be this value here. Okay, all I did was hit Control F, and then I typed in run, and then find next until I've located it. So Control F, runs in there, find next, and you can see this highlighted right here, and this is going to be our answer. Okay. All right, so I've already plugged it in. And the next question is asking about TCP stuff here, so I'm assuming that's going to be our next one here about Procmon. So let's get to talking about this one. Procmon. Next, we will explore Procmon Process Monitor from sysinternal suite to investigate today's sample. Process Monitor is used to monitor and investigate how processes are interacting with the Windows operating system. It is a powerful tool that allows us to see exactly what a process is doing. For example, reading and writing registry keys, searching for files, or creating network connections. Open Procmon. The shortcut for this has been placed on the desktop for the analyst machine. Procmon will automatically start capturing events of various processes on the system. Sweet, so I guess we can go ahead and fire this bad boy up. All right, let's fire up Procmon here. All right, there's already a bunch of stuff in here. Let's flip back over here and see what they're talking about. We're going to start doing some filters, it looks like. So there's our initial output here, and we need to filter out all the noise. Now execute the sample hop helper.exe again, and then return to the process monitor to see how it interacts with the operating system. You'll see a lot of information there, don't worry. We will come into it, this filter shortly, so let's go and fire that off here again. Okay, it's running. Should be done with that. All right, and now let's go back to Procmon here and go to this filter option. After allowing a few minutes to pass, ensuring the sample has fully executed, we will now stop capturing. To stop capturing more events, click the play button on the toolbar process monitor here. So let's stop it first before we start doing anything with filters. All right, so it's stopped. Now we're gonna go back to filters. As you can see, there's a lot of information. Scroll through with the most recent events at the bottom. Here we can see how various system processes are interacting with the windows. There's all of it we don't care about. Remember that the task content is demonstrating using download.exe, but we're using helper.exe, obviously. Let's apply some filters. After all, for this demonstration, we only care about downloader.exe or hophelper.exe. To do so, filter button, then filter within a drop down here. New window will come up here. Okay. And then it says here we can create some filters to remove some of the noise that we don't care about, because when we look at $.exe sample for this demonstration, we can apply a filter like so. So we're going to go to process name filter, set the connection. Condition 2 is put it in, put the name in the process we wish to see within the text area, click add, and then OK. Seems pretty straightforward. Okay, change this down to process. Right, let me go back, I already forgot. Yeah, process name. Okay, so we're gonna go to process name, and then we are going to leave that as is, and then click add, and then OK. Now we only have information related to that, and you can see operation, different operations here, it looks like. A bunch of stuff was running. All right, so that's done. Once done, returning to the main process window, or process monitor window, we can already see the filter has worked. Yes. Now it's much easier to investigate how the process is interacting with the operating system. Here are some operations that may have interest to us. So if reg open key, create file, TCP connect, and TCP receive. All right, and here's operations. We can see all kinds of them here, so that's good to know. However, as you can see, there's still a lot of information. We can further apply filters to look for specific things that we want to investigate, such as the aforementioned operations. To do so, return to the filter heading and create the filter we want to apply. For example, we can filter by operations. Let's do so below, filtering for any TCP operation. So it contains TCP, etc. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing, except switch it around a little bit. So filter here, and then we're gonna go to this drop down here, and then go to operations or operation, and then change this to contain, and then TCP, then add, click apply or OK here. There we go. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so we are done with that. Or alternatively, if you wish to start over, you can press the reset filter option. Okay, they're talking about if you want to remove anything, this is how you do it here. You can remove the filters you've previously applied by pressing the filter in the filter list and pressing remove, like so. Okay, and then reset filter if you want to reset everything. Pretty self-explanatory. If you well done, that concludes the demonstration for today's room. Remember, you'll need to apply what you have learned here for hophelper.exe executable that has been placed in hophelper folder on an analyst desktop to answer the questions. Okay, we already done that. And it says filter the output for Procmon for TCP operations. What network protocol is HopHelper.exe using to communicate? Make sure to have executed HopHelper.exe while proc1 was open and capturing events, which we've done. Okay, so we need to figure out what they're using there. What's this say here? HTTP appears to be the answer there. Okay, bonus. Can you find the web panel that HopHelper.exe is communicating with? Web panel. That's interesting. Okay, so I'm wondering if you have to go to this to the site or whatever here. So let me see if I can figure this one out, and then we'll wrap up the video. Okay, let's see if we can find this. We're going to take a look at one of these events inside of here, and then since we know it's on HTTP, I guess we can try to navigate to this here. So let's see if this works. I don't see like a .com or anything like that, but let's take a swing at it here, see if anything comes up. Probably, nah. Okay, so we will probably need to do something like this here. If my keyboard works today. There we go. All right, so this appears to be that web panel they're talking about. Refresh data, a bunch of stuff in here. Nice. That's pretty cool. All right, so we're done with that. And if you enjoyed today's room, feel free to explore basic static analysis and basic dynamic analysis rooms where you can delve deeper into the techniques and tools discussed today. Also check out my channel for anything related to malware analysis and such. Okay. And don't forget to use these hints if you get stuck on here. Okay, they can help you out. TCM Security has a malware analysis course, so you all should check that out if you're interested in pursuing this particular area. But we are done with this video and done with today's event for Advent of Cyber 2025. If you want to help support the channel, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so anytime I post to the channel. As always, thank you for taking time to watch my video. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next one. Hopefully, y'all are joining me on this year's event. See you later.